My fiancée left me for a better man, her family chose, saying, "My family thinks I deserve better." Years later, she's losing it after seeing my success and my soulmate. I pulled up to Bianca's parents' estate around 6. Not mansion-level rich, but the kind of house with a circular driveway and those perfectly trimmed hedges that scream we pay people for this. 4 years together, and I still felt like I needed to check my shoes before walking in. I'd brought a decent bottle of wine. Not expensive, but not gas station either. The kind of thing you bring when you're trying to look like you belong. Bianca met me at the door. She looked good, she always did, in this cream-colored dress that probably cost more than my rent. She kissed my cheek and took the wine without really looking at it. "They're in the dining room," she said. "Dad's in a mood, just warning you." Her dad was always in a mood. But I'd been working on my startup for 2 years, pouring everything into it. We were bleeding money, sure, but the tech was solid. I had meetings lined up with potential investors. I thought maybe tonight I'd finally talk about the future with her parents. Maybe even float the idea of proposing. Yeah. I was that stupid. Dinner was the usual performance. Her mom asked about my project in that tone people use when they don't think what you're doing is real work. Her dad mostly ignored me, talking about his own business ventures like I wasn't there. Bianca stayed quiet, pushed her food around. I excused myself to use the bathroom. Their house had 3, but I used the one near the kitchen because it was closest. On my way back, I heard voices coming from her dad's study. The door was cracked maybe 2 inches. I should have kept walking. 2 years on that startup, her dad was saying. "When does he actually make money?" I froze. "He's passionate about it," Bianca said, but her voice was small. Defensive in a way that already sounded like she was losing. "Passion doesn't pay bills." Her mom this time. "You deserve stability. Someone established. Not potential." Silence. I stood there in the hallway like an idiot, holding my breath. "I know," Bianca finally said. Just that. 2 words. But they hit like a gut punch. I walked back to the dining room. Finished dinner. Made small talk. Left at a reasonable hour. Bianca kissed me goodbye at the door and said she'd text me later. She did. Just not the kind of text I expected. 2 weeks later, she invited me to another dinner. "My parents want to introduce you to someone," she said. "A family friend." The someone was Adrienne. Mid-30s, tailored suit that probably cost what I made in 3 months, corporate litigation attorney at some white shoe firm downtown. His handshake was too firm. His smile was too perfect. And the way Bianca's parents looked at him, like he was exactly what they'd ordered off a catalog, I knew right then. 3 days later, Bianca called me. Not texted. Called. "That's how I knew it was coming. I can't do this anymore," she said. Her voice was steady, rehearsed. "I can't keep waiting for someday. I need someone who's already there." "There where?" "You know what I mean. Stable. Secure. I'm 30. I can't wait around anymore." I wanted to argue. To tell her the meetings were going well, that we were close, that I was building something real. But what came out was, "So that's it." "I'm sorry," she said. But she didn't sound sorry. She sounded relieved. I hung up. Sat in my apartment, this cramped 1-bedroom with water stains on the ceiling, and stared at my phone. 2 days later, Instagram showed me exactly how sorry she was. There she was, on a beach somewhere expensive. Adrienne's arm around her waist. Both of them in sunglasses, smiling like they'd won something. The caption, "Finding my forever," red heart emoji. I stared at that photo for probably an hour. Read every comment. Every like. Her friends congratulating her. Her mom commenting with heart emojis. And all I could think was, 3 days. She waited 3 days. I deleted Instagram 3 times that first week. Re-downloaded it twice. The algorithm knew exactly what I wanted to see, and it fed me everything. Adrienne taking her to some rooftop bar. Bianca in a dress I'd never seen, the kind she used to say was too much when I suggested nice restaurants. Her at his firm's charity gala. Him holding her hand at what looked like her parents' country club. Every photo was a reminder of exactly what I wasn't. My co-founder noticed. "You're distracted," he said during our investor pitch. He was right. We bombed it. The guy literally checked his phone while I was talking about our platform architecture. 3 months after the breakup, our main investor pulled out. Just an email. Reallocating resources to more established ventures. Corporate speak for, "You're done." My co-founder lasted another week before he took a job at Google. Didn't even have the guts to tell me in person. Just a Slack message at 11 p.m. "I'm out. Good luck." The servers went dark on a Tuesday. I couldn't afford to keep them running. 2 years of work, just gone. My savings lasted another month. Then rent came due and I had $340 in my account. I applied everywhere. Got ghosted by everyone. Turns out failed startup founder doesn't look great on a resume when you've got nothing to show for it. The food delivery app didn't ask questions. Just needed a car and a clean driving record. I started that Friday. The first week, I kept my head down. Picked up orders, dropped them off, didn't make eye contact. I delivered to my old office building twice. Once to a guy I used to have coffee with. He didn't recognize me. Or pretended not to. 6 months after Bianca left, I'd gotten used to the routine. Friday and Saturday nights paid best. People tipped better when they were drunk or didn't want to put on pants. It was a Friday. 9:33 p.m. High-rise downtown, expensive sushi order. The kind of building with a doorman and marble floors. I'd delivered here before. Rich people who tip through the app and never open their doors more than halfway. I buzzed the apartment. Waited, the door opened. Adrienne stood there in a dress shirt with the sleeves rolled up, wine glass in hand. He looked right through me. Just another delivery guy in a polo shirt holding a paper bag. I sold everything that wasn't nailed down. My decent couch went on Craigslist for $200. My TV for $150. Box of old textbooks to a used bookstore for $40. I moved into a studio apartment that was basically a glorified closet with a hot plate. Rent was $600. That gave me runway. I stopped chasing investors. Stopped pitching the big vision. Instead, I looked at what small businesses actually needed, the boring stuff. Inventory tracking. Scheduling. Basic automation that didn't require a CS degree to implement. I called it Streamline AI. Lightweight tools. Affordable monthly pricing. No contracts. I built the first version in 2 weeks, coding 18-hour days on coffee and spite. Then I walked into every small business within a mile radius and asked if they needed help. Most said no. A few were polite about it. Then I walked into this family-owned bakery on 5th Street. The owner, this woman in her 60s, was doing inventory on paper. Actual paper. With a pencil. How much would it cost to automate this? She asked. For you? $300 to build it. $50 a month after. She hired me on the spot. I delivered it that weekend. She loved it. Told her sister who ran a coffee shop. Her sister told someone else. Word spread. Within 6 months, I had 15 clients. Then 30. Then 50. I hired my first employee, a kid fresh out of college who could code circles around me. Then 2 more. We got an actual office, this tiny space above a dry cleaner that smelled like chemicals, but it was ours. A year after I deleted the delivery app, Streamline AI was actually making money. Real money. We hit 100 clients. I hired 3 more people. Got featured in a small business tech blog that led to 20 new inquiries in 1 week. I stopped checking my bank account every morning, waiting for it to hit 0. 2 years after that, 3 years total since the breakup, we had 20 employees. Partnerships with 3 major platforms. I got interviewed for a piece in a legitimate tech publication about sustainable scaling. I bought a house. Nothing fancy. 3 bedrooms in a decent neighborhood. But it was mine. My name on the deed. No roommates. No landlord. I started going to the gym. Not to look good. Just to feel like I wasn't disappearing. Met Sophie around that time. Friends game night. She showed up in jeans and a flannel shirt, carrying homemade brownies and a bottle of cheap wine. She worked as a civil engineer. Spent her days designing water treatment systems. When I asked what she did, she said, I make sure people's toilets flush, and laughed like it was the best job in the world. She didn't ask about my company valuation. Didn't care about my client list. We spent 2 hours arguing about whether Blade Runner or The Fifth Element was the better sci-fi movie. She was wrong, obviously, but I liked that she was passionate about being wrong. 3rd date, she came over and cooked tacos in my kitchen. Actual cooking, not ordering in. She wore my hoodie while doing dishes and never gave it back. She wasn't Bianca. That was the point. Life settled into something that felt real. Work grew steady. Sophie and I moved in together after a year. Streamline AI kept scaling. I stopped thinking about proving anything to anyone. Then the email came. Subject, featured vendor invitation, Tech Forward Conference 2024. I almost deleted it. Thought it was spam, but I opened it. Streamline AI had been selected as a featured vendor. Booth space. Panel discussion on accessible business automation. The conference was in 6 weeks. 4 years after Bianca left me, I'd be presenting at one of the biggest small business tech conferences in the region. I stared at the invitation for a long time. Then I forwarded it to my team with one line. We're doing this. I had no idea who else would be there, but I was about to find out. The conference was massive. 3 floors of the convention center, hundreds of vendors, thousands of attendees. Our booth was in the startup pavilion, smaller companies, but high visibility. Sophie helped me set up the display. Our client list took up an entire banner, 200 plus businesses, partnerships with 3 major e-commerce platforms, integrations with point-of-sale systems people actually used. "You're nervous," Sophie said, adjusting a stack of brochures. "I'm not nervous. You've reorganized those business cards 4 times. She was wearing my old Streamline hoodie, the one from year 1 when we couldn't afford real merch. It was faded and had a coffee stain on the sleeve. She refused to throw it out. "What if nobody stops by?" I said. She looked at me like I was an idiot. "Then we eat the free conference lunch and go home. Relax." The doors opened at 9. By 9:30, we had a line. Turns out, small business owners were desperate for tools that didn't require a PhD to implement. I spent 2 hours doing back-to-back demos, handing out pricing sheets, scheduling follow-up calls. Sophie fielded the overflow, explaining features like she'd built them herself. She hadn't. She just listened when I talked about work and remembered everything. Around 11, I was mid-conversation with a guy who owned a chain of auto shops when I saw them, Bianca and Adrienne, walking the expo floor together. She was in a designer dress, navy blue, the kind with a subtle pattern that probably cost a mortgage payment. Heels that clicked on the concrete. Hair professionally done. Adrienne wore a suit that fit too well to be off the rack. They looked exactly like the kind of people who belonged here. They stopped at our booth. I watched Adrienne's eyes scan the banner. The company name. The client list. Then his gaze dropped to me. Nothing. Not even a flicker of recognition. Bianca's eyes met mine. Her face went white. "Streamline AI," Adrienne said, reading from the brochure Sophie had handed him. "Interesting. What's your pricing model?" I opened my mouth. Nothing came out. Sophie stepped in. "Tiered monthly subscriptions. No contracts. We can schedule a full demo if you're interested." "Maybe," he said, already losing interest. He handed the brochure back. Bianca hadn't moved. Hadn't blinked. "Bianca?" Adrienne said. "You coming?" She followed him. Didn't say a word. I watched them disappear into the crowd. My heart was hammering so hard I thought Sophie could hear it. Was that her? Sophie asked quietly. "Yeah, you okay?" "I don't know." 20 minutes later, Bianca came back. "Alone, can we talk?" I looked at Sophie. She nodded and stepped away, started chatting with an attendee who'd just walked up. Bianca stood there, hands clasped in front of her like she was at a funeral. "I didn't know you'd be here," she said. "Why would you? This is incredible. What you built." "I mean, I saw the booth and..." She stopped. Started again. "I didn't know you'd done all this." "Yeah. Well, Adrienne's firm is downsizing. They've been letting people go. My parents..." She laughed, but it came out wrong. Bitter. "My parents are still never satisfied. Nothing's ever enough." I said nothing. "He's controlling," she continued. "Everything has to be his way. Where we go, who we see, how I dress. I thought he was what I needed, but..." Her voice cracked. "I made a mistake." There it was. 4 years later. The admission I used to fantasize about hearing. It felt like nothing. "I'm not doing this," I said. "I'm just saying I see it now. It should have been you. I should have waited." I looked at her. Really looked. The desperation in her eyes. The cracks in her perfect appearance. "I moved on a long time ago, Bianca. You should too." I walked back to Sophie. She slipped her hand into mine without asking questions. Behind me, I heard Bianca's phone buzz. Heard her answer in that fake bright voice. "Yeah, I'm coming. Just ran into someone." Sophie and I left early. Went to get tacos from a food truck and ate them in the park. "You handled that well," she said. "Did I?" "You didn't light her on fire." "So yeah," I laughed. First real laugh all day. 3 weeks later, the email came. Subject line, partnership inquiry. I recognized the domain before I even opened it. The sender was Bianca's father's company. I knew the domain instantly. I'd seen it on enough emails back when I was trying to impress them. Subject, partnership inquiry, enterprise system overhaul. I opened it. "Dear Streamline AI team, we're seeking proposals for a comprehensive automation overhaul of our legacy systems. Based on your reputation in the small business sector, we believe you may be a good fit for our enterprise needs. We're prepared to discuss a 6-figure contract. Please advise on your availability for an initial consultation." It was signed by their director of operations. But I knew exactly who was behind it. I forwarded it to my team lead. She responded in under a minute. "Holy crap. This is huge. When do we meet with them?" I stared at the screen. 4 years ago, I would have destroyed for this. For her father to see me as anything other than a failure. For the validation. The proof that I was enough. Now, I hit reply. "Thank you for your interest. Unfortunately, we're at capacity and unable to take on new enterprise clients at this time. Best of luck finding another provider. Sent. My team lead called immediately. Did you just turn down the... Yeah, that's a $250,000 contract. Maybe more. I know what it is. Silence on the other end. Then, okay. Your company. Just. You're sure? Completely. I hung up and felt lighter than I had in weeks. The messages started 2 days later. Please. My dad really needs this. Can we talk? I archived it without opening. Another one the next day. I saw the preview. I know I hurt you, but this isn't about us. It's about business and... Archived. Then she called. I declined. She called again. I blocked the number. An email came through my personal account, the one she still had from years ago. You're being childish. This is a legitimate business opportunity and you're letting personal feelings. I didn't finish reading. Just archived it. Sophie found me that night sitting on the couch, staring at my phone. What's wrong? She asked, setting down her bag. I told her everything. The overheard conversation at dinner 4 years ago. The delivery to Adrian's apartment. The conference. The rejected contract. She listened without interrupting. When I finished, she sat down next to me. Do you feel bad? She asked. I thought about it. Really thought about it. No, I said. I feel free. She kissed my forehead. Good. Because F-word those people. I laughed. Sophie didn't curse often. When she did, it meant something. The fallout came through mutual contacts. The kind of small world BS that happens when you've been in the same circles long enough. Adrian's firm had laid off half their associates. He was among them. No severance, no warning. Just a box of his desk stuff and a security escort out. Bianca's parents were furious. Not at her for letting me go. At her for not keeping me interested back then. For not seeing what I'd become. She was still with Adrienne. Still playing the part. Still trying to please people who would never be pleased. I heard all this third hand, through a friend of a friend who worked adjacent to her world. I didn't feel satisfaction. Didn't feel vindicated. I just felt done. One more message came through. I saw the preview notification on my lock screen before I could stop it. You were right. I should have waited for someday. It was always going to be you. My thumb hovered over it. Sophie was in the shower. I could open it. Read the whole thing. Maybe even respond. I swiped left. Archived. Then I blocked her email too. Done. Streamline AI hit 40 employees 6 months later. We closed a partnership with a national retail chain, the kind of deal that gets written about in trade publications. Our valuation hit 8 figures. I stopped checking LinkedIn to see who was watching my profile. Stopped caring about optics. Just built things that worked and hired people who gave a crap. Sophie and I bought a bigger house. Nothing ostentatious. Just space for an office and a yard where she could attempt gardening. She destroyed every plant she touched, but I loved watching her try. We didn't talk about Bianca. There was nothing to talk about. That part of my life was filed away in a folder labeled "Learned from this, moved on." Then I saw her one last time. I was grabbing coffee near the office. This place I went to every Thursday because they knew my order and didn't try to make small talk. She was sitting alone at a corner table. No Adrienne. No designer dress. Just jeans and a sweater, laptop open, staring at the screen like it had answers. She looked tired. Not exhausted. Just worn down. The way people look when they've been running on fumes for too long. She glanced up. Our eyes met. I nodded. She nodded back. That was it. No conversation. No apology tour. Just two people who used to know each other, acknowledging the other existed. I got my coffee and left. On the walk back to the office, I thought about the night I delivered food to Adrian's apartment. How small I'd felt standing in that hallway, holding a bag of sushi, watching her live the life I'd promised. I'd been so certain I'd lost. Turned out, I just lost her. And that wasn't the same thing. Sophie was waiting when I got home that night. She'd set up candles in the kitchen, which meant either someone had died or something big was happening. What's this? I asked. Sit down. I sat. She pulled out a small box. Not a ring box. Something else. I was going through old photos and found this, she said, handing it to me. Inside was a Polaroid. Me and her, from that first game night. Someone had taken it without us noticing. We were mid-argument about Blade Runner, both gesturing wildly, both laughing. I wanted to remind you where we started, she said. Before the success. Before everything got complicated. When you were just some guy who had strong opinions about Harrison Ford. I looked at the photo. At her face. At mine. Why? I asked. Because I need you to know something. She took my hand. I didn't choose you because of what you built. I chose you when you had nothing. And I'd choose you again if you lost everything tomorrow. I kissed her. Not the dramatic movie kind. Just the regular kind. The kind that says, I know. Me too. Through the grapevine, I heard the rest of Bianca's story unfold over the next year. She left Adrienne. Finally. Took her 6 months longer than it should have, but she did it. Her parents were furious. Started setting her up with other suitable candidates. She was 32, single, and realizing that approval can't be bought, only rented, at a price that keeps going up. Adrienne was still unemployed last I heard. Burned too many bridges at his old firm. Nobody wanted to touch him. I didn't celebrate. Didn't gloat. Didn't even feel particularly vindicated. I just moved on, built a life she couldn't touch. Found someone who chose me when I was delivering food in a 10-year-old car, and stayed when I had everything. Sophie and I got engaged at the bakery, the first client who ever hired Streamline AI. The owner cried. Said she knew we were special from the beginning. We're getting married next spring. Small wedding. People we actually like. No performance. No guest list based on who needs to see what. Sometimes people ask if I ever think about Bianca. About what would have happened if she'd stayed. I do. Sometimes, but then I remember, she wanted someone who was already there. Joke's on her, I got there anyway. Just not with her, and honestly, I wouldn't change a damn thing. She chose stability over potential. Her parents' approval over her own judgment. A resume over a person. Adrienne's out of a job. Bianca's stuck in the life she chose, still chasing approval that will never come. And me, I'm thriving, with someone who chose me, not my resume. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you really like our videos, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day.